Welcome back to Bull vs. Bear, the channel where we break down business trends, market moves, and what makes or breaks a brand. I'm Kleven, your optimistic bull, ready to charge in today's topics.
And I'm Chip, your skeptical bear, here to keep it real. Today we're talking about a business graveyard 50 brands that failed to innovate and paid the price.
We're diving into the biggest names that fell behind, from tech pioneers to retail giants. What went wrong? What lessons can today's companies and investors learn?
Whether it's ignoring market trends, clinging to outdated strategies, or failing to adapt, these stories have a lot to teach us about survival in the fast paced business world.
So buckle up. It's time to break down what happens when brands stop innovating and how you can spot warning signs. Let's get into it. All right, Chip, before we hop into 50 companies that basically went kaput, let's talk about the portfolio here, bud.
Okay.
We're down last week, we're down 6%. Chip, that's not good. 17 grand a week is not where we like to. 17 grand negative is not a good number, brother.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't seem good. Is there a particular reason, or is it just based
I'll
on
be
your
honest,
understanding of
we're
market?
supposed to have this Santa Claus rally, right? Right? Saint
Mm-hmm.
Nick was coming, bags full of cash. I could see it.
Uh-huh.
And Rudolph turned off his nose and got lost, brother.
Does Santa Claus traditionally bring bags of cash to investor bros before Christmas for a Santa Claus rally, or is it after?
That would be if it's after, it's not a Santa Claus rally, it's a New Year's rally, but we need a Santa Claus rally.
Oh, I see.
And we're $17,000 down. I have faith that Rudolph turned his nose back on. He's going to find his way to the stock market and send the stupid line green straight up.
Okay.
So that's where we stand right now. So hopefully next week's going to be better. Our real generally Nvidia is one of the. I'm just pulling up Nvidia here. Nvidia is not doing good for us. I probably got into Nvidia maybe at the absolute worst time. Like when you get to the top of the mountain, that's where I bought Nvidia, and then it's just kind of like clunked its way down the hill. Down 6.5% on Nvidia. Everybody and their mother made money on Nvidia, but not me. I bought Nvidia, and the mountain started crumbling.
What's the year to date on Nvidia?
1 year is 176%.
Jesus.
Yeah, and I'm down 6.5%. Thank you, Nvidia. So listen, it's gonna be okay. We're not gonna freak out. It's gonna turn around, and if it doesn't, we'll sell it and it'll lower our tax bill.
Right.
So, well, that's where we stand with the market, with the portfolio. Let's move on to the real topic of today's conversation: 50 brands that fail to innovate, and what happened to them.
Okay.
I'm actually really excited about this because I always like to look back at brands and think to myself, like, did you see the fall coming? Like I'm sure 100% sure this company's gonna be on the list. Blockbuster. I'm telling you, I could see Blockbuster going out of business 5 years before it did. Once Netflix started shipping movies to my house, it was game over for Blockbuster. And then they went to like where you could just stream it. That was literally a nail in the coffin. But I for sure saw Blockbuster falling. I don't know if other people did. I'm sure some people didn't see it falling, but I'm always curious if you can see the fall before it happens, So let's start with the first one.
Okay.
Kodak.
Oh, interesting.
Kodak, here, how they failed to innovate. Even though they developed the world's first digital camera, the management was so focused on the successor of photography film that they missed the digital revolution. They failed to keep innovating and filed for bankruptcy in 2012, which is crazy because Kodak, like, I think at one point they had like a nuclear reactor at their headquarters, like for film development and stuff.
What?
And they were like really, really big. I mean, they were a massive conglomerate.
Well, this is one of those examples of a product that technology just outpaced. Like even if they had transitioned to digital cameras,
Cell phone killed
how
them,
many
right?
digital cameras do you own?
Yeah, zero.
Yeah.
That's the kiss of death for Kodak, right?
Yeah, I don't know how they would have survived this new age. And nowadays, cameras are in like glasses, right? Meta just revealed those glasses with cameras in them. Poor Kodak was doomed, I think.
But isn't photography at this point almost like a niche market? Like no one really buys like, I mean, I'm not saying nobody, but I'm generalizing, but generally people just use their cell phone. I mean, your iPhone 16 camera is so good. Can you really tell the microscopic differences between that and like an XLR or something? I don't know.
Oh, well, I imagine it's a pretty big difference in. I imagine that there's a big difference between consumer and commercial use for these products nowadays. What about Canon? Canon's a pretty much. It's what is Canon? Canon's an imaging company specifically. What's Canon's stock value right now? I guess they transitioned appropriately.
See,
I don't even know if it's a publicly traded company.
I don't think it is.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think I think cameras have a place, but I think they're just aren't the biggest companies in the world like these cell phone companies. Apple's one of the biggest companies in the world, right? Maybe either the biggest right now or the second biggest. They're one of their main features every year is look how great our camera is. It now has 62 lenses in it or some crazy thing. And my iPhone looks like an alien. It's got like 3 cameras on the back of it.
Mm-hmm. That's
So
a
I
good
mean,
point.
if you have there's no way Kodak or no camera company could ever compete with Apple's budget to make better camera products, right? So
Mm,
I think that was the kiss of death for them is once cell phones. Because like I had a BlackBerry before the iPhone, and the BlackBerry took terrible pictures, but the iPhone took good pictures, good enough to where you didn't need a separate camera. Like I don't, you're a little bit younger than me, but like back in the day, you'd go to like I would go to summer camp and take like a disposable camera with me to take pictures with your friends and stuff. You don't just take a phone now.
yeah,
No
yeah.
one has a separate camera. It's like thing of the past.
Yeah, this is unfortunate. They were a cool company. Although filed for bankruptcy in 2012. Was
They
that
lasted a
before
lot
or
longer
after?
than I thought they would have, right?
Yeah, yeah. There must have been a lot of components to the loss of their value.
All right, company number 2, Nokia. Oh, I skipped down to number 3 too. We're gonna act like you didn't see that. Nokia, another phone carrier. I this one kind of I'm sure we're gonna see BlackBerry on this list, but I think this kind of went the same way as BlackBerry, right? Just didn't
Mm,
they lost this, or even says here they arrived late to the smartphone race and still win. Company overestimated the strength of his brand and believed it could arrive late to the smartphone race and still win. Oh yeah, no, it definitely couldn't. I actually had
mm.
Nokia. That was my first phone. I had like a little
Yeah,
prepaid one.
I had a Nokia Lumina, and it was a Windows phone actually, and it was pretty cool.
Not as cool as an iPhone though.
No, not as cool as an iPhone.
And on to number 3, Yahoo. I'm gonna be honest. This one hurts me because I still use Yahoo to this day.
Yahoo email.
I use Yahoo for my search. I like going to the Yahoo page and seeing all the stories.
Yahoo. Oh, Yahoo's homepage.
Yeah, I
Didn't
like
they
their
buy a?
homepage. I never search on Yahoo though. I only go there to look at their homepage.
Mm,
And I do use Yahoo Mail. I'm ashamed to say. Listen,
uh,
the problem is I got stuck on Yahoo Mail when it came out, and
yep.
then I never transitioned. And then it's just like it's like having an iPhone now. You can't go to Android after you have an iPhone.
Well,
You know what I'm
maybe
saying?
Google will buy them.
Huh?
Maybe Google will buy Yahoo next and create the world's biggest monopoly.
As long as I don't have to change my email address, I'm okay with that.
Mm,
But I actually don't know if I would say I don't feel like Yahoo is. I don't know if I don't feel like they should belong on this list. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I feel like they're still kind of a big company. No.
not. I feel like not in comparison, right? Wasn't there a point in time
When was the last
where
time you went to Yahoo?
I also have a Yahoo email account that I use on rare occasion.
That's what I'm
Maybe like 10
saying.
years ago, I went
Oh,
to Yahoo on purpose.
oh,
Um,
not help my case.
oh yeah, I don't think there was a point in time where Google wanted to be bought by Yahoo, right? And Yahoo refused because they didn't like the price. I think there's that famous like Silicon Valley story where Yahoo opted not to buy Google, and then there was a point in time in the future where who owns them now? Verizon for a brief window.
I don't know who. Somebody did buy them. I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's Verizon though. I feel like I think it's a foreign company.
Oh, interesting. Or Yahoo.
I still like them. I feel like this is unjustified. We'll move
Oh,
on.
it's definitely justified. These guys
How
have
dare
clearly
you.
lost a ton of their money.
Xerox. When was the last time you like? I mean, Xerox is just copy machines, right? Am I crazy? Or that's their main thing, right?
I think that now they are largely a services and hardware company for like enterprise level copy machines, is what I'd wager.
When's the last time you copied something like on a copy machine?
Mm, big in the business world. I worked in an office for a little while, and I
Yeah,
know
but
that
when was the last time?
10 years ago.
You said 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh, yep. This one deserves its place on this list. It's dead.
Oh,
On to number 5.
you know, they invented the a Xerox software engineer is the person who invented the graphical user interface for an OS, I believe, and that's where Windows and Mac originated from.
Xerox should have capitalized on that better because they failed and now they're dead.
Mm,
Unlike Yahoo, which is still alive. We're going to move on from Yahoo. Still down
barely.
there on this list. Blockbuster. I mean, like I said, this one I felt like I saw coming 5 years before it happened. And I'll be honest, if you're a business like Blockbuster, you're a consumer business, right?
Sure.
Customers. If you're going to ding me for not rewinding a VHS tape, you deserve to go into the graveyard of companies. I'm just saying. That's just so like, how much extra work was it for them to rewind the tape?
Yeah. Yeah. What's that? Do you notice that the Blockbuster title, like the little blurb underneath Blockbuster here says Xerox was the first to invent the PC? Is this like an AI written article?
It is not an AI written article. It's written by a company called Valier. Well, I don't know. I do see that, and I think they I don't know what they did there, but they did get the part correct about how they failed to innovate, which was the shipping out of DVDs, which is what I said, and that's how I knew they were going to die. And they really made me mad when I had to keep paying fees for not rewinding my VHS tapes.
Is this like a personal vendetta you have against this company more than like a business issue?
Maybe I don't like to
Did
talk about it.
did Blockbuster have I think I was just a little too I think I was just a little too young for Blockbuster to make a big
Yes.
impact on my life. But didn't they also release a streaming service right before they went out of business?
Did, but a little late to the party, and they even had a chance to buy Netflix, I believe. And
Woof.
I think it was something like I could be wrong here, but I think it was something like $80 million. Which,
Interesting.
when you look at the price of Netflix now, I mean, they should offer Netflix $1 billion, and they'd be the kings of the industry. But I'll be honest, I'm happy they're dead. We'll move on.
Is it because they charged you that one rewind fee?
That one rewind fee. Segway. I'll be honest, this company's always been dead to me. I never knew anything. I was never getting on one of those little machines that look like they would kill you.
Didn't it kill the owner? Like, didn't the guy who invented
No
the
way.
Segway
That would be crazy.
I'm almost positive the guy who invented the Segway accidentally segued right off the edge of a trail and passed away.
No way. And look, he died and his company died. R.I.P. Segway. Moving on.
Segway is still around.
That's a shame.
I don't know. They invented some of the most impressive. Segway is a super interesting company. They invented some of the most impressive mobile hardware. When it was coming out, like when the first Segway was announced, there was this marketing campaign, and they had people like Steve Jobs saying that they were inventing some of the most unique hardware in the world or something like that.
And that's crazy. The one I used to go to the mall back in like 2015. I don't go to the mall anymore. Just the mall is ridiculous. Why would I go to the mall? I just order everything on Amazon now. But I used to go to the mall back in 2015. I remember seeing the like mall security guys running around their little Segway things, and just thinking how dumb they looked. Sorry if any of you listening used to be a mall security guy riding a Segway, but I'm just saying you guys look stupid. Just walk.
No.
You're gotta be faster than the Segway, and you at least have pride.
Well, I don't know. What happens if you're like trying to apprehend like a toddler on one of those one of those little red wagon things? Maybe you need to be in the Segway.
I think you just let the toddler get away.
All right.
And now, watch this. I'm gonna do a little transition. And now segueing into IBM.
I think
did that.
No, I don't think that counts. Segway named its company after that.
Wow, crazy. IBM. IBM. I didn't even know IBM is IBM actually like they're not dead though, are they?
No, half these businesses are still around.
Yeah, but they're like Segway's really dead.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true.
I'm pretty sure it is. But
I'm
IBM,
almost positive it's still a company.
I'm pretty sure you're wrong. Is IBM still around though?
Yes.
Who's the company I was just thinking? Oh, Intel's the one I've been thinking about recently, not IBM.
Intel is also still around.
Yeah, I know, but they're kind of dying too, I feel like.
No. We're the
lost them.
largest.
No, they're not the largest. Don't make a They're
Intel
the
died.
largest.
They are one of the largest.
Of what?
Chip producers in the world.
I don't know, man. They're
What's their
125,000
market cap?
employees, founded in 1968.
$87
They
billion.
have a negative price. This means they're losing money.
Yeah, they had a hard time. They've had some bad chips they've released recently, and all of those new
The company's worth
competitors entering
87
the
billion.
space seems pretty okay.
All right. We won't call them dead, but apparently
No.
IBM is dead?
No.
Oh.
IBM is also not dead. It's doing quite well. It's just not as impressive.
It's doing quite well. Let's define quite well. Well, that's a pretty expensive stock price. Let's see at 3 months. Oh, 15. Oh,
what's its market cap?
213 billion.
Yeah. This list was written by a dumb AI. Not
30,
quite the
33 price. Or that's not terrible, actually. This
no,
isn't
IBM,
bad. You know what? How did IBM get on this list? Let's see. In the early 90s, IBM failed to adjust to the personal computer. Oh, you know what I think they're saying is that they missed their chance to innovate, because I think IBM weren't they like they were everything before before Windows and Apple, right?
Yeah, well, I think that some IBM machines ran Windows, but I think that they were one of the largest computer hardware manufacturers, and now they offer more services.
See, it does say, look, it does say right here, after several transitions, IBM is one of the most potent names in the enterprise software. But I think what they're saying here is it died in the personal computing space, which it did. I don't think anyone owns. I don't even think it make personal computers anymore.
I think that they used to own the ThinkPad line of laptops, which was an impressive line, and Lenovo purchased that, I believe. IBM ThinkPads, I think. You know the ones with the red button in the middle? Have you ever seen one of those for a business consumer?
No, but I like anything where I can press a red button.
Okay, yep. I think folks swear by those old ThinkPads.
All right, moving on from IBM, which apparently isn't dead, but just transitioned to a new business. J.C. Penney. We can say this one's basically dead.
I don't know. Is this one actually dead?
It's like, let me ask you this: if I said Macy's to you, would you just say they're like they have some stores, but they're basically dead?
Does Macy's have stores, or is it actually gone?
I think they have a few stores. Look, wow. J.C. Penney, they're down to 100. Oh, they closed 138 store. I think they're still around, but who's going to J.C. Penney?
I don't know.
Buddy. That told me everything I need to know. Moving on.
Yep.
Tyrac. All right, I'll be honest. I don't even know what this one is.
I think that this started making up. The AI that wrote this article started to make up businesses right here.
The British tie retailer founded in 1901 failed to do its research on men's shopping behavior.
Ties?
Apparently in 1981, they realized people were wearing less ties. How often do you wear a tie?
What are they supposed to do about that?
How often do you wear a tie? Well, if your business it's ties and people stop wearing ties, your business is done. What's the last time you wear a tie?
I wear a tie like once every other month or so. But I just have the 3, and they do a pretty good job.
I think I have 50 ties. I don't think I paid more than $15 for any of them.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you suppose these guys are supposed to do to diversify their tie business?
No, I think they did the right thing. I think they went out of business.
Did they?
I think
some of these didn't.
That's true. Tyrac, you know what? Tyrac's dead to me either way. Moving on.
Okay.
BlackBerry Motion. Listen, this is a company I really did not innovate. I mean, the thing is, they had enough money behind them, right? They saw Apple release the iPhone, and they didn't transition. You know what they made after Apple made a touchscreen phone? They made a phone with buttons again.
Some people swear by those buttons.
Really? Which one of these has the bigger market cap right now?
Oh, yeah. First of all, I think that this isn't the right title. BlackBerry was made by a company called RIM, right? Isn't that something in motion?
It is. It was made by
Research in Motion.
Yeah.
This list.
They changed the game in the mobile industry by offering a device with an arched keyboard.
I think you found the only list on the internet more ignorant than we are.
Well, that's not exactly true. Moving on. MySpace. This company is still technically around, but not anywhere near the same space they were at. I think it's all like music now for MySpace.
Yeah, I think Justin Timberlake was on the list of VCs that brought it back or re.
I don't know if they brought it back, because I'll tell you what, I haven't been to MySpace since 2008.
I think that what a gamble though, if you think about it, transitioning a general social media network to a like a niche social media network to prevent it from going out of business is a cool strategy. If you think about it, it makes sense. Like you can't compete with
What's the
Facebook.
purpose though?
Well, what's the purpose of any social media?
Yeah, but if no one knows what the social media does, who's going to it? When's the last time you went to MySpace?
Never. It's been a long, long time.
2008?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, Facebook kind of took the game over, and then MySpace, they went to music, but like, why wouldn't you go to Spotify? Why wouldn't you go to any of the other places that play music? I don't even know what like their music is. It's like niche bands. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Moving on from MySpace.
Or MySpace.
Goodbye, Tom. My first MySpace friend.
Everybody loved Tom.
True. Commodore Corp. I think this is computers, right?
Yeah, if this is the same.
Yeah. This one's definitely gone, right? Yep. Filed for bankruptcy in 1994.
There it is. Yep. Commodore PCs used to be a big deal. They were like
this
the first.
Yeah. Huge deal.
We missed out on these.
I don't feel like I missed out. Moving on.
Okay.
Sears. You know, my great grandfather, he lived to 100 years old, and he worked at Sears. It was actually his career. He like back in the day, you could work at Sears. It was like a career.
No kidding.
Yep. And he actually even had a pension through Sears.
No kidding.
I swear. And then Sears filed bankruptcy, and they decided that they filed bankruptcy, they didn't pay any of their pensions anymore, so he lost his pension. But he hated
that
Sears.
Sucks.
Yeah, he was not a fan of Sears after that.
You think that they would have been able to separate their pension out from their general business operations, but maybe that didn't happen.
Yeah, you know, I think pensions are awesome for people. They're the worst things in the world for companies. The absolute worst thing in the world.
What do you wager? Have you ever heard of the Sears? So there was before the internet, there was that famous Sears catalog, right? And it was a big deal for Sears. It made them a ton of money. It made them one of the largest corporations in America.
Yep.
And there's this type of home you could order on Sears. Like you could choose a house.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a great video on Vox where they go around the US and they find all of these cool old Sears houses that
It's kind of cool if you think about Sears. Sears was Amazon 100 years ago.
Yeah.
It's really kind of a cool like company to look back on, but we're done looking back on them. Moving on.
Poor Sears.
Macy's. Hey, look, I told you, Macy's. I knew this one was gonna be on the list. I don't think there's but like 100 stores left in the country anymore, which is crazy because Macy's was everywhere. This was like Macy's was your like Target or Walmart of like your city back in 50 years ago. It was like Macy's and Sears were the two you had. Now you have Walmart and Target.
Yeah, this is Macy's CEO Terry Lundgren is under the impression that shoppers prefer to shop in brick and mortar stores.
That's not true. I hate going to a store. But I will tell you, I don't mind going to a Walmart because they got food there, so I can grab my groceries too. There's some things like grocery-wise I like to pick out in person. But I feel like if either of these stores had added food to their stores, they might still be around.
It's hard to... Well, I think getting into the food space is a logistic nightmare. But I think even more important...
Yeah, but if you're a conglomerate like this, you could figure that out.
True. I think this is an example. Macy's is an example, maybe Sears as well, of some really interesting hubris, right? Because you have these companies that are dominating a space, like brick and mortar retail. And these may be the only examples so far that failed to innovate in a specific way when they had market dominance. And like that quote, if it's real, if the AI that wrote this article actually knows what that CEO said, that's some real boomer shit right there.
Well, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to ask him, am I allowed to swear on this?
I'm going to cut that. Here's a thought. These two companies, right? They were so big like in the 60s and 70s, right? They were the Amazon, Alibaba, whatever you want of today, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think at one point during those times, people were like, these companies can never fail?
Definitely.
And then they both failed. So I wonder what companies we think that about. Like, do we look at people look at Amazon now and they go, Amazon could never fail. But Amazon could fail, right? I mean, hypothetically.
Yeah, I think it's short-sighted to say that Amazon won't ever fail. Sears was around for what, 40 years?
Oh, no, way longer than that.
That remained competitive from 1940 to 1980. Yeah, I don't know why it says that. It must be like a 100-year company, right?
Yeah, but I think it's like market dominance was really the 40s to 80s, like the 40s
Oh,
to 8 because like that's when they had like this the Sears catalog even started before the 40s, I think, but
oh,
1940s, 1980s, like that was like the store everyone went. You went there for everything, clothing, appliances, tool, everything.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Okay, yeah, I agree with you. Amazon is certainly going to go out of business, right?
Maybe. I don't know. I guess
But
the thing is though, there I will say Amazon doesn't rest on its like they're constantly that's where they are different than these companies. I feel like they have a streaming platform. Uh they're aren't they like launching into space? Isn't that like
Blue
Bezos is like
Origin.
Blue Origin or whatever?
I don't think it's owned by Amazon, but yeah, what's that quote? There's that quote that the birthright of every empire is to die. And you can look like Amazon is an impressive company, but an even more impressive company was the East Indies Trading Company, and they still went out of business.
Rest in peace, East India's trading company,
No,
1500s. Moving on. Hitachi. I don't know anything about this brand.
Hitachi's still around and doing well.
Are they doing well?
I mean, they're not as big as they used to be,
I
but
don't even know what this is. How could they be doing well? I feel like I know everything.
they're a hardware company, but they
For
specialize in
what?
like sound, I think,
Sound?
like drivers, amps, and software now, I think as well.
This Japanese brand Hitachi used to be an electronic giant with Sony, Panasonic, and Sharp. I'll be honest with you. I know all the brands they just named except for Hitachi.
Hitachi's still big. Hitachi's still
Right.
big. It's not as big as it used to be, apparently.
We're gonna Hitachi out of this conversation to move on.
Okay.
Next one. Polaroid. Yep.
Oh boy.
Look. Hey, dead to Apple, right?
Well, I don't know. Filed for 2001? Isn't that before Apple?
Dead to
Like,
Kodak.
well, yeah, before the iPhone.
But either way, like the problem is these brands, they never like Polaroid never innovated, right?
Well, I mean, for a little while they were synonymous with taking a picture, right? The word Polaroid, take a Polaroid was like an actual saying. I think they did pretty good.
Yeah, for 60 years, I guess. Okay, moving on. Nike Fuel Band.
Now they're just making stuff up.
Nike Fuel Band, a bracelet for fitness tracking. Nike Fuel Band was launched in 2012 by Nike. There was a lot of hype because it represented the future of wearable computing. The product wasn't necessity that needed to exist. It wasn't a necessity that needed to exist. Nike continues improving the product, plans to exit wearable device business and stick to software. Well, that sounds like this company's going to die. This is like a spin-off of Nike, I guess.
I would be willing to bet. Now, I'm not going to bet because I don't believe in that. I'm a long-term investor. But I would be willing to bet that Nike Fuel Band is a product, not a company.
That's a fair point. I would agree with that, actually.
So we've switched from Valuer.ai has switched from companies to products.
We'll move on from this one. Yeah, I think you're right about that. Toshiba.
Still around.
Is it, though?
I mean, it's technically still around, I think.
Is it, though?
Toshiba. I'm pretty confident I've seen a Toshiba product. I don't know if it's banned.
In 2016, Toshiba announced they would stop making PCs for European customers, but continue selling computers to businesses in Europe and the US. Let me tell you what.
Yes.
If one of my friends sends me a text message, goes, hey, guess what? I just bought a Toshiba computer. I'm going to be like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And moving on. Radio Shack.
Is this company gone?
I actually think Radio Shack is I think they're gone.
Rest in peace, Radio Shack.
I think they actually finally died.
Oh, that's a shame. They made some cool. They were a cool consumer product company.
They had a lot of cool toys in their store.
Yeah, and some cool equipment too.
I wonder how they didn't. The problem is though, I don't even know if this company didn't like innovate. I just think people don't want to go to 3 different stores for 3 different things. They just want to go to Walmart and get everything at one place. Right?
I feel like it's more accurate to say that they just want to go to their phone and click order.
It's fair. That's true. But yeah. Okay. Rest in peace, Radio Shack. Motorola. I had a few of these phones.
It's still also not gone. And in fact, actually impressively big.
No.
Motorola is doing very well.
In which world?
It's one of the last competitors for hardware against Apple and Samsung.
Oh my gosh. Is this it? Motorola? This is the company?
Maybe. What's its market cap? $78 billion. Isn't it owned by Lenovo now? Or some of its products are. and they were the largest mobile phone manufacturer for a long time,
That's
even
too
after
neato.
Apple started producing its own mobile phones.
Oh, you know what? I'm happy Motorola's still around.
It's doing
Not
well, I think.
we
All things said and
we
done.
won't RIP them then. Goodbye, Motorola. We're gonna move on. Orders.
This one
Is
hurts.
this a bookstore?
It was. This
I
one did.
remember this one. This one is actually gone though.
I think it is actually gone. Yeah, but filed for bankruptcy.
You know, it's crazy to me that Barnes and Noble is still around though.
I love Barnes and Noble. I think that the thing about Barnes and Noble is that I think they're correctly pivoting into a space where they sell like games, books, toys, and then they also have like a lot of events where authors come into town. They have like cafes in their stores. They're
That's
really
the big thing. I think having I see Starbucks in the Barnes and Nobles. I think that's the move.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I still don't think enough people go to malls, and that's where these are.
Some of them.
Well, you know what? Barnes and Noble will see on this list in a few years.
No.
R.I.P. Border. Palm.
Palm.
I do remember Palm. Palm is the little. They predate the BlackBerry, right? Or right around the same time. They're like a mobile phone, right?
Yeah,
the little stick.
PDAs. Yeah, they made some really cool products, and they made this fantastic OS. Who bought this company and killed it? Some other large conglomerate is responsible for Palm going out of business. I think HP.
That's because of the launch of Apple's iPhone and BlackBerry, Palm could not respond to its success. The company was too slow to realize that smartphone customers wanted wireless voice and data from the device.
I disagree.
But you don't want wireless voice and data from your device?
No, they were using a mobile phone that open up a tab and type in HP acquires Palm. It's HP's fault that Palm is gone. I'm almost positive. Juniper. Oh,
that's a new company that just IPO'd.
Yeah, $1.2 billion. So HP bought Palm. They had a successful, very competitive mobile operating system that was more advanced than the Apple competition at the time. And HP proceeded to butcher their company. And a larger corporation destroyed a competitor for Apple in its attempt to compete.
Rest in peace, Palm. You'll always be a palm in my hand.
Oh.
Sony Walkman. You know, I have one of these still, believe it or not.
Oh, like a little CD or a cassette?
I have CD one, yeah. I got one. You know, my mom, she gave me one for my birthday when I was 13, and I still have it to this day. Not that I don't even own a CD anymore, but I still have the Walkman.
I think that so niche audiophile equipment is coming back, and I think that they just released like a $500 Sony Walkman.
That's crazy. Anybody that buys that doesn't care about their money. Yeah, I mean, this one was dead to the iPod, right? It's really like they're.
Yeah, I think that.
But I mean, once again, I think this goes back to your point. This wasn't really a company. This was a product, right?
Yeah. In addition to that, do you see like the little logo off to the right hand side? Is that even real text, or is that just AI generated gobbledygook?
No, I think this is real. It's like it's I don't know what that is.
I think that's the Walkman logo, but the text underneath it is no good.
It's not a text. It's like no, it says Walkman. It's just kind of hard to see. Look, it's it. Look, see. Hey, stop! Hey, look at how that looks.
No, you're right. That looks like AI wrote it from the 90s.
Oh, look here. Look at their logo over the years. Oh, look, this is their logo now. They should go back to. Well, not. This is terrible. Look, this has little feet on it.
Search the new Walkman. I'm curious if the new Walkman is around. Maybe I'm making that up. Walkman MP player, maybe? Oh, yeah. Yeah, look at that thing. Look at that. $800.
If any of you guys buy this, please unsubscribe from the channel.
Or send it to me. I bet it sounds great.
$1,100. What are you paying $1,100 for?
So I think they have DACs in them. So they have
what does this do?
It has very very clear audio.
You gotta buy a headset with it.
Well, yeah, I think it has so it's got enough juice that you can plug in those big boys and listen to them. Yeah, look how thick that bad boy is.
This is the dumbest thing I've seen in a long time.
Oh, I want one.
Stop. Don't stop.
I don't have headphones that would make it worth it.
Yeah, moving on. National Geographic. Also, I don't think this one's out of business either.
It isn't, but they did just fire all of their writers and replace them with AI, just like this website, and now everybody hates them.
They have hey, listen, AI does a good job. They launched the Discovery Channel along with the History Channel. I'll be honest, I like both of those channels. I used to watch
Ancient Aliens.
no, I never watched that one. I watched the Lobster Show, the Bering Sea, Deadliest Catch.
Yeah, I've heard it's good.
And I watched Gold Rush.
Are you interested in digging for gold with me in Alaska? I'm interested in starting a venture.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. But
okay.
I am excited to watch someone do that. It seems more like a couch thing to do, like from my couch while somebody.
I don't know. I think it'd be fun. I think just you, me, nature, dirt, gold.
You should probably stop thinking. We'll move on. Next one, Pan Am. This is before both of our times,
I would say.
And you know what? I think airlines in general are just really bad businesses.
Well, it's probably because now they're government agencies, basically.
Actually, I don't think that's true. I don't think that's even close to true. They're all just independent agencies, but they're just really bad businesses.
Well, I don't know. I think it's pretty close to true. They're all heavily government regulated.
Maybe they should just be straight government businesses.
Probably.
Oh, well, rest in peace, Pan Am. You had great flight attendants.
Potentially.
Circuit City.
It's just Radio Shack again.
You know what? How long are we from Best Buy being on this list?
Best Buy isn't on this list?
I don't think Best Buy's on this list.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe since is Best Buy the last one? Because if Best Buy is the last one, maybe it'll survive.
Yeah, but what you can get at Best Buy, you can get at Walmart or Target.
Yeah, but I feel like when somebody wants to spend...
I sound like a shill for Walmart. I don't even, they just have everything there.
Yeah, it's definitely... Are you under the thumb of big Walmart money?
I mean, in fairness, we do have a little Walmart position here worth...
Oh my God.
Worth $117,000.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's not insider trading if I'm straight telling you, but and we do have a very expensive call option here that we paid $15,000 for. So listen, I'm just saying, Walmart's a good business. Make sure you do your Christmas shopping.
Moving on. My God.
Google Glass. What do you want to tell me about this? I know you know more about this one than I do.
I think Google Glass was way ahead of its time. It's clearly the precursor to a lot of products that are coming out right now. In fact, Google just had a XR, which is what they're... I don't even know what it stands for, experienced reality or something, event where they've demoed the precursor of Google Glass, which they're collaborating with Samsung, I believe, to make. And so I think that had Google continued to focus on this product line, they would be dominating the space that Meta currently dominates.
I don't think Meta dominates it. I don't think it's a real space even now. I think there's so many problems with this type of product. The fact that there's a camera always there on your... I think the privacy concerns are so massive that this is so far away from being a real thing.
Potentially. Although I am excited. Like the smaller this stuff gets, the closer it gets to me just wearing it on my face all the time. It'll be cool to be in an argument with your partner and say, did you say that 5 seconds ago? And they say, no, I didn't say that. And then you bring up the recording.
Let me just tell you right now, the first time you do that, and you bring up the recording and you prove to your partner that they're wrong, you still lose. Just so you know.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I'm 100% right. Goodbye, Google Glass. Moving on. Netscape.
I don't know anything about this.
I actually don't know anything about this either. Was this boy, we're just so either young or too old. Netscape, I think it was it a search browser or was it a way to connect to the internet? Oh yeah, look, the company lost a battle with Internet Explorer and other competitors. Let me tell you what, Internet Explorer lost its battle too.
I think that they got hit by... Microsoft might have been hit by an antitrust suit because of Internet Explorer, but yeah, I think rest in peace Netscape, I guess.
Yeah, R.I.P. Netscape. Abercrombie and Fitch. Fitch? I've never shopped here.
They were
I'm more of a Walmart guy.
Well, yeah, these are definitely different than Walmart. This was like a...
Are they still a store?
I think so.
No. I think they're actually... I think they're massive. This is kind of a crazy one on this list.
Yeah, I think they're big.
Let's do a little check here.
Yeah. And I think that not only are they big, but they are pretty historied too.
Actually, they're only worth 7 billion. I mean, I say only.
Only 7.1 billion.
I know.
Look at the CEO. This is a company. So this is a company that I've got one funny factoid for.
63% year to date. That's pretty good.
Are we allowed to roast CEOs on this capitalist channel?
Absolutely.
Okay, bring up the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch.
Ron Horowitz Bondies.
You got to look him up, though. It's important that you see his face for this next section.
Okay, this story's going to get even better. I can't wait till you tell me about this guy.
This is... Well, this is...
I can't wait to... Please tell me about the CEO, this guy that's... let me see his face. Tell me.
Okay. Can you look up the old CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch? Google the last CEO.
Oh, that's great.
The last CEO was famous for saying like he would only there were like rules for Abercrombie and Fitch, which is just like a clothing store. I think it started as a British clothing store, a British hunting apparel
This
company.
guy, Mike
Yes.
Jeffries.
Mike Jeffries had a rule where only attractive people were allowed to work at Abercrombie and Fitch,
You know
and he
what?
looked
I
like
heard about
this.
this rule actually.
I don't know if it's real. Maybe this is.
I never shopped at that store either because of that. I thought you had to be attractive to go in there too, so I just never even went in.
I don't think you had to be attractive to go in.
Well, he
I
lost
don't.
business. I've turned into a Walmart guy. Moving
Oh
on.
well, it was a losing battle on his part, I think.
Hummer. Bigger is
Still a
better.
brand. Was it a company?
I actually think it was a company,
All
and they're not
famous.
technically dead either. I think they still make like there's like a niche car company now. I think.
Look at that big electric Hummer that weighs 7,000 pounds.
Wait, what a bad time to me. I mean, can you imagine? Like, I think Hummers like first came out like what the early 2000s or like the late 90s.
I think that they made military equipment for a while. I bet
They
they're older
did,
than that.
but then I mean, imagine 2008 hits, gas prices $4 or $5 a gallon. What a bad time to be making the biggest gas guzzling vehicle in the world.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, R.I.P. Hummer.
Okay, MapQuest.
MapQuest. I used to use MapQuest to get directions when I was driving before I had an iPhone.
This is the one where you'd like print out the paper, right?
Yeah, buddy. You have to. Yeah, listen. Back in the day, there was no before GPS or before smartphones. You actually had to have like a piece of paper. You had to read while you're driving. You think texting while driving was bad? Imagine reading while driving.
You bring out your world atlas. You have like a globe while you're driving. You're
You
just
had a
kind of
little
like
map,
moving it
yeah.
around.
Oh, MapQuest, rest in peace. I was surprised like Google didn't buy them or something. Like Google Maps, they should just bought them.
If you compare to Google Maps, yeah, I'm surprised. Maybe they declined an acquisition. A lot of companies in those early days were, they declined some
They
acquisitions.
should have sold this one. Moving on, Atari. Well, rest in peace to the original home video game system, right?
Big game system. They also made a lot of money, interestingly enough, in like arcade systems as well.
You know, the lifespan of like video game companies is kind of short. Like for like consoles, because you've had like Sega, they came and went. You had Atari came and went. I feel like Nintendo's the only one that's really like Nintendo. It may be Sony, but even Sony came out in late '90s. Nintendo's been around since the '80s, right? They're like the last like the godfather of home video games.
Yeah, well, Nintendo's quite an old company. They started as a playing card company, and then they've transitioned to technology and games. They're just a storied company.
That's why they're not on this list. They keep on innovating. Moving on.
What do you wait? Atari has here's an interesting thought about Atari.
Okay.
Maybe this is becoming too long to have interesting thoughts on each company, but Atari, or video game industry in general, we're both gamers, right?
Yep.
We play some video games. How much did a AAA video game cost when we were kids?
Like when I was like 6 or when I was like 16.
When you were like 12.
I feel like it was $40.
I think it was $50, and now they're only like $60. How have AAA video games not increased in price with inflation? Shouldn't they be $100 a piece now?
Well, I think it's a good question, actually. You make a really good point. I don't know the answer. I think kids only get so much allowance money.
Maybe that's the problem. I think the video game industry, to touch on your point a little earlier, is a fascinating space. And you're right. It's a volatile space, way more volatile. Whenever there's an intersection between art and technology, I think that's a recipe for some pretty serious volatility.
I thought though, the price of video games hasn't really gone up much, but I feel like the price of the consoles has.
I think that those have gone up with inflation a little
like
more.
The last PlayStation I spent like $700 on.
Are they still loss leaders? Because I know for a long time these video game production companies like Sony and Nintendo and Xbox sold their consoles.
They sold at a loss, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because it makes, generally people are going to either buy the Xbox or the PlayStation. So you want to sell the console as low as you can, and then you make your profit back on the other end with the actual video games or the online experience. So The cheaper you can sell your console, the better off it is for you as a company.
That's a good point. And
I mean, honestly, PlayStation should almost just give away their consoles for free.
We should take a moment and talk through all of the ways Microsoft has produced products that are so far ahead of the industry, and then they die. Like, let's talk about, do you recall there was this controversy, I don't know, like 10 years ago when Xbox announced that first new generation Xbox, and they were like, oh, you can download the games from our digital library and you keep them forever, and you can subscribe for games on a month-to-month basis. And their audience lost their minds, hating it.
You know why though? It's because back then, I mean, even now, you could buy a game at GameStop, go home and play it, and then sell it. But Microsoft they were gonna charge you the same price. You could keep the game forever, but you could never resell it. So kids like to sell their old games back and buy new ones generally.
Did you see that Steam is making a home console? Valve is making a home console.
I do not want a home console. I just want a computer. I don't know why everyone's buying home console stuff. I feel like, I guess if you're younger, maybe. I don't know. My kid, he's 12. He plays on the computer all the time now. He has a PlayStation, never touches it anymore. Moving on. Toys R Us. Rest in peace. Great store. But thing is, kids just don't play with. Do you feel like kids play with toys as much as they used to?
I think so. I mean, we both have young kiddos, and I think they love toys, and they lose their minds with toy
How
shops.
often is your kid's, what, 4 or 5? How often is your kid on like electronics versus toys? Is there like a YouTube like iPad you got over there playing, or are they just on like what you got going?
Shamefully, we do have an iPad for her, and yeah, but I think that we try and limit it, and she loves toys.
Let me ask you this though: do you feel like there's enough toys at Target or the Great Walmart versus like having to go to a specific toy that just has toy store that just has toys? Like, do you feel like you can get enough toys at Target or Walmart?
Yeah. Yep.
That's what I'm saying. So,
and I'd rather support a local toy store than like a corporation. Maybe that's the future.
Or Walmart. Moving on. I'm happy you didn't mention that the Toys R Us logo is the Abercrombie and logo. So we'll move on past that too.
I think we've already decided that this article's
pets.com.
Okay.
Pets. I don't even know what this one is. Pets.com. What is this?
I think that pets.com is one of
this has got to be a .com boom bust.
Yes,
1998. Yes. I mean, I feel like this one doesn't deserve a spot on this. This isn't a big brand.
It was. Look at that investment. I don't know how real this is because this article was written by an AI with the IQ of a goldfish, but pets.com was a humongous component of the .com boom. And I know it was a humongous failure. Like it was a company that ignored a lot of market trends and lost a ton of money. I don't know where it is today.
It's dead. I think they went bust in 2000.
Ooh.
They had to put Fido down. Moving on. Tower Records. It's always been crazy to me that people buy as much music as they do.
I buy some music. I subscribe to Apple Music now.
You don't buy music. What music? Tell us the last music you bought.
Okay, you got me there.
All right, moving on. HMV. I don't even know what this is. Please tell me.
Never heard of it.
CD, VHS, and video game retailer HMV is a popular brand in the 90s. Popular where? I guess they were like they sold like CDs and stuff and movies. They're like a blockbuster that essentially. Why does their logo have a dog on it?
This could be a hallucination.
Yeah, we're gonna move on from HMV. Goodbye, HMV. Compaq.
That was.
I feel like this is a computer brand, right?
Yeah, Compaq made a ton of personal like home computers. They were a big personal computer brand. What was this acquired? Dell acquired them for $25 billion. Wait, Dell and
no, they were acquired by HP. $25 billion. It says they lost their price war against Dell, which is crazy because I feel like Dell's kind of a dead brand in the computing space.
No, Dell is still pretty big. It's one of the largest personal computer companies right now, and they own Alienware. They own like their computers are frequently going up against Apple as one of the only other viable alternatives.
That's crazy. I lost some money with Dell. They're dead to me right now. Moving on. Enron. You see, I don't think this company failed to innovate. Wouldn't this be just considered like a fraud scheme in some sense?
Yeah, it's hard to say that Enron failed to
Didn't they just
innovate.
like lie about how much money they had left?
I don't know if you can put just straight up cons on a failed to innovate list.
Well, boy, am I happy I didn't have any money to invest in Enron back then because I'd have probably got stuck in this scheme too. Moving on.
Rest in peace, Enron.
Hostess. No, I feel like Hostess is still around.
What
Definitely
did they?
not as big as they used to be, though.
Well, I don't know really. How did they fail to innovate? They make like barely edible garbage and still do.
Hey, listen, you can eat a Twinkie that was made 30 years ago today and you'll still be fine.
Hmm.
And I will say they may be dead coming up because I think the new healthcare, the new head of HHS, Kennedy, he's no fan of sweet treats.
Is he just like gonna put all these delicious candy companies out of business? He's like the
I think
anti
so.
Willy Wonka.
Right now is not a time to invest in cereal companies. Let me tell you that.
Jesus.
Moving on. General Motors.
He
Also
still goes on.
not dead, but almost. I feel like didn't they get like a massive government bailout in like 2007, 2008?
Yeah, they like many large
This is almost
corporations.
like I feel like a government run business at this point.
Well, I think that a common misconception is that technically speaking, they did pay back their loan to the U.S. government, which
What interest rate did we get?
we got an okay interest rate. I think
Really?
it wasn't amazing, but I think that it was a net positive for the people of the United States, and we kept business in business. But GM's an interesting case study for government intervention, I think.
Okay, well, I'm happy they're still around. I'm still not buying any of their cars. Moving on. AOL. You got mail.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is that AOL? That's AOL, right? You got mail.
I think so.
I never used AOL.
Me either.
Well, this was just like dial up, right? That's all it was.
Yeah, it was a dial-up provider, and I'm not entirely sure. How did it work? Like they sent you a modem, and then you connected, and
All I
it used your
remember is
telephone
I
line.
remember it would connect to your phone line. My
Right.
mom would be on the computer and I'd want to call my girlfriend. I'd pick it up and you hear like all this robotic sound on the phone line, and then it would disconnect disconnect my mom from there, and then I would get yelled at. So I wasn't a big fan of AOL. So you know what I say? Rest in peace. Happy you're
Oh,
gone. Moving on.
okay.
Clinton cards. Known for their
Okay.
green Clinton cards. You said, come on, this can't be a real company.
You gotta look this one up. This one seems fake.
Clinton cards.
They're gonna be worth
Honestly, when I
$50
read the
billion.
name, I thought it was something related to the Clintons. Founded in 1960. Oh, you know why we don't know about this? It's an English thing. UK.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well,
Spot
rest in
tea.
peace. Rest in peace with the Queen. Moving on.
Oh,
43. Sharper Image.
are these guys still around? Nope.
The company was losing so much money that they declared bankruptcy and closed down 90 of its 196. I'm assuming they're all closed at this point.
I would wager. I've never.
But what did they? Were they like a Circuit City Best Buy type deal?
Maybe. I don't know much about them.
Well, you know what? If you take any lesson from this, don't have just one product in one store. Like if you're, I feel like being an electronics store is just asking for failure. You want to get as many people in your store as possible, right? So if you're just an electronics store, you're only going there when you get electronics. How often are people buying electronics? Not every week, not every month, but groceries. And then you get people to like look at that section too at the same time, you know?
Are you just trying to get us to shop at Walmart again?
Okay, moving on from yes, maybe. TiVo. I remember TiVo briefly. I never used it, but it was just a DVR, right? You just could record like your movies and TV shows from cable.
Yeah, I think it was the first real player in that space, or it's the only one I know of that innovated in that space initially.
Streaming killed this, right?
Amongst other things, I think. TiVo was an offering with some internet service providers. As cable TV became less effective and less profitable, I think that this also decreased in value.
Oh, goodbye TiVo.
I think it's still around.
Pebble.
Google bought this.
Oh, you know about this one? I don't know anything about that. I didn't know what their smartwatch, huh?
They were one of the largest smartwatches, and for a long time they were. I think Google bought this. They were a humongous smartwatch brand. They were a very successful Kickstarter campaign.
Fitbit bought it.
Oh,
in
Fitbit bought it.
2016. It called it
And
quits and sold its technology to Fitbit. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have never owned a smartwatch, and I still don't understand them at all. It's a small screen. I have a phone.
I have a smartwatch. It's actually quite nice. It integrates you into an ecosystem a little more. You get your text there whenever I'm like away from my phone. I try and keep away from it as often
I
as I
did
can.
see recently my Tesla got an update that I can now just use my smartwatch as a key. So I don't even need my phone on me. I can just literally have the like if you have your watch on, that's your key.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But I don't own a smartwatch, so it doesn't help me. Moving on.
Hmm.
46 DeLorean motor. Is this Back to the Future, really?
It is.
Okay, I'm not sure this company is big enough to be on this list.
I don't think
They
it
produce
is.
fewer than 9,000 cars. Listen, rest in peace, DeLorean Motors, but I don't think you don't make this list.
No. And they did a great job with what they had. I think they made some pretty serious innovations in that space.
The Concorde.
This is a product.
No, this is a turbo-powered airline. It's a jet.
Yeah, it's a jet, but wasn't it owned by, I don't think the Concorde was the company. It was the jet, right?
I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, 2003, I wasn't in the investing world. Moving on to Concorde.
Wait, no, we have to stop here for a second.
Okay, go ahead.
They say here that it failed to innovate, which is not true. It's still, I think, to this day, faster than modern day airliners.
Yeah, but it says due to all the technical flaws and financial challenges, the Concorde flew its last plane in 2003. Isn't the problem though it never worked? Like it wasn't consistent enough?
No, it was super consistent. It was a hyper. What was it like? It was one of the few hypersonic jets.
Yeah, the problem is its high energy consumption forced airline companies to look for better options. I guess it was really expensive.
I don't, this list, I don't believe that this machine should be allowed to say that one of humanity's, like, clearly the machine that wrote this article is criticizing one of humanity's greatest inventions, and I don't. How
dare you? I could have written this article. Moving on.
No, you did not.
The Daily. I don't know what this was. First digital iPad-only newspaper launched in 2011. Featured flashy graphics, videos, and new ways for readers to interact with the content. Readers could only access the newspaper through a paid subscription through the iTunes store. I can tell you why this one shot down.
Yeah, this is specific.
You know what's really killing me recently is like a lot of these sites, like I'll Google something and then it'll take me to a webpage and the webpage is like, hey, pay us $1. And then I just leave because I'm never going to a website and paying $1 for it.
Yeah, the problem is the alternative is a website like this where the content is clearly not written by a human.
How dare you? Moving on. I'm not sure sometimes I'm not sure the other ones are written by humans.
Fair.
XFL. I think this was like a NFL competitor, right?
I don't know.
I feel like Donald Trump was part of this.
Wow. XFL.
We're gonna do a little check here.
What is this? Is a league? I don't know if a sports league can be non-innovative.
Donald Trump in the American. Oh, he was not the XFL, the American Football League.
Oh, AFL.
AFL, yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
I don't know anything about the XFL. It looks like it's a combination of wrestling, operated between NBC and the World Wrestling Federation, made as an outdoor football league.
Interesting.
Well, how did they fail to innovate? The competitor NFL was already showing football. The XFL league didn't present anything new, and the teams, I think if they want to do something new, they should have played till the death. That's new.
Football to the death? They're already doing that. It just takes a little while.
Have to check that out. Moving on. Last but not least, Nortel.
Nortel.
I don't know anything about this.
Telecom data network equipment company. I don't know anything about this either.
Shut down in 2009. I think they're a technology company. I think they were doing network equipment. Yeah, I don't know anything about this one. Well, that's our 50. We kind of stretched it here for this last one, Nortel. That was a stretch.
I feel like there's some pretty big companies that could have listed in here that actually went out of business.
Give me one we missed.
Okay. A big company that was on that list that went out of business.
Oh, look at this. Look, the market open chip. Look at this. Instantly down $800.
Oh.
Ooh. Give me the big one. Give me one big one before we go.
Okay, one big one. Let me search the old brain here. Big company that went out of business that's not on this list. All right, the AI got most of them.
I mean, my go-to would always be Blockbuster, but they beat us to that one.
Yeah, it got that one. It got that one. There's certainly a company on that. My normal one is Sears because it's such a big space.
Sears still kind of got a few stores though.
Is it around?
There's actually no Blockbusters left in the country. I think the last one in Alaska just recently closed.
Man, that's a shame.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll wrap it up here. Catch you guys next time on Bull vs. Bear.
See you guys.